Live on California Picking, guys. Hey, YouTubers and fams, it's Drew. Welcome back to my variety channel, California Picking. We're live. My variety channel where I show you all kinds of content so no one gets bored. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a fascinating subject. As you know, I'm very interested in paranormal, unexplained events, and we just had one the other day. I'm going to let a couple people get into the room. We're going to be talking about this incredible report of a man flying a jetpack in restricted airspace being seen by two commercial airline pilots. It's never happened before, and we don't know who this jetpack man was. So today I'm going to be talking about the possibilities of who this person could be, because it's a mystery, guys. We just don't know. So if that interests you, stick around. It's going to be great. If not, go check out one of my other, 700 videos. I don't know how many I have by now. I had 1,000 at one time. I took some off because of the Kappa BS. But are you guys there? Can you see me? Are you watching? Anyway, I hope you are. So we're going to be talking about this subject of this jetpack man. Let's talk about it, all right? So specifically, let's talk about first what the report was by these pilots. The first pilot radioed, "How you doing?" There you go. Yeah, he's gonna run out of fuel. Follow him soon. Yeah, that's funny. So let's see, which side is I got a new camera, so I don't know which side my camera's on. I think the camera's over here. Yeah. Okay. So first, let's talk about the report from the first pilot. He radios the tower and says he just passed a guy flying and wearing a jetpack. Then the semi-shocked control operator says, "Oh, is he on your left or right?" And the pilot tells him and clarifies that he is 300 yards off his wings. 300 yards is 3 feet per yard, so that's 9,000 feet away, I guess, from this aircraft. Is my math right? 300 yards is 9,000 feet. Anyways, he's close enough to see that it's a guy wearing a jetpack. Now, we don't know the time of this event, and I would need to know the time to be able to say, there's a couple things I need to know that we don't know about. But when I watched the news, it said, tonight, 2 pilots reported seeing a jetpack man flying up at the same altitude that they were at. So I assume that this is somewhere around dusk. I don't think it's at night. This pilot didn't say that he saw any aircraft lights, strobe, or any identifying markings. And everybody knows that if you're going to fly at that altitude, you have to have those things. You have to have clearance, and the control tower from the airport needs to know that you're in the air. And I doubt flying a jetpack at night is even legal. Okay? So who's ever doing this, how you doing? Get a helicopter after him quickly as soon as Well, they radioed the control tower, and who knows what they did with that information. We're going to talk about that in a second, because it's very fascinating. So stay tuned. I'm going to get into it. This is kind of a podcast. So you're going to see my face. You're going to see where I'm walking. I'm going to get some lunch, but I thought I'd take you with me, and talk about this subject. Okay, so specifics are that the pilot saw a guy wearing a jetpack. He said he passed a guy wearing a jetpack. Now, I did a little bit of research. Turns out that commercial aircrafts fly at about 450 miles an hour at cruising speed, usually up there at 33,000 feet at maximum height. This time they were coming in for a descent into LAX, and for all those who don't know the logistics of LAX, it's built right off the shoreline of the Santa Monica Ocean, Santa Monica Bay, Redondo Beach. It's right next to the ocean. And I think when all airports are designed, if it's close to the coast, they design the airport right next to the ocean so that they can take advantage of some of the wind currents coming in off the ocean, providing more lift for the aircrafts. That makes perfect sense. So all of our traffic comes in. If you're coming in from Hawaii, you're flying over LA and making a turn and coming in, sorry about the noise, coming in around, circling around, flying and landing west. At no time, I don't believe that any aircrafts come in and land east. They have to come in and circle and fly. I think the aircrafts are only coming in from one direction. So I'm assuming that this is on a descent. I think the news services said this was a descent. So this first pilot was coming in, at least on a descent, slowing down from 450 miles an hour at maximum cruising speed, cutting their airspeed by half. So they're basically flying at 250, 225 miles an hour with their ailerons down, trying to slow themselves down. And as they hit the ground, maybe they're going 100 and something miles an hour, and then the brakes take course, and then they reverse the engines. Of course, you know what that sounds like. So this guy's coming in for a descent, and he sees a guy, he passes a guy going 200, he's going 250 miles an hour, let's say, and he's passing a guy in a jetpack. Now, the guy in the jetpack's got to be going maybe 175, 200 miles an hour. Because if he's going any slower, the commercial aircraft would pass him too fast, and he wouldn't be able to see that it was a guy in a jetpack. So I'm assuming that it's around dusk. We don't know if there's any aircraft lights on the jetpack. I assume that there's not. I also assume that there's no flying jetpacks at night anywhere, and certainly not over restricted airspace, commercial flying airport airspace, okay? So who's ever doing this is breaking the law, big time, okay? That's just the simplest fact. So he's flying and he sees the guy in the jetpack, and he's able to see enough detail to say that it's a guy wearing a jetpack, okay? Now here's what we don't know. Let me explain this. And I'm no expert on jetpacks, but I believe there's only two different types of designed jetpacks. One jetpack has a wing attached to it. Sorry, my keys are rattling around. One jetpack has a wing attached to it. And that type of jetpack is flown horizontally. In other words, it's a guy sitting flat with a wing on his back and jets built into the wing. And we've seen those on YouTube. Red Bull and other companies endorse these daredevil pilots to fly these jetpack wings. And they jump out of an airplane. And that's how they get the height to go. And the jets come on. But you can clearly see there's a wing. And it's a guy flying basically on his stomach, flying with his head going first. That makes sense because of less wind drag, etc. The other type of jetpack is similar to the one seen in I don't know which year it was, but the Super Bowl, where Michael Jackson supposedly flew a jetpack into the stadium. Now, I don't think it was really Michael Jackson. I think they somehow pulled a fast one and did a quick cut or something. It probably wasn't Michael Jackson, but those are the other type of jetpacks where it's flown vertically, where you're basically standing up, and your head is above your feet, and you're flying at a little bit of an angle, but you're more vertical. You're not horizontal like the other style jetpacks. So we would need to know, was there a wing on this jetpack? Was the guy flying horizontally like a normal aircraft would, or was he flying the other style jetpack like the one Michael Jackson flew? I also remember on an episode of Gilligan's Island There was an episode where they flew a jetpack standing up. I don't know if you guys remember Gilligan's Island, but anyway. So there's this guy flying a jetpack, supposedly. Now let's talk about who this person could be. All right. There's not many people making these jetpacks in the United States or around the world. I don't know how many. I haven't done the research. But I would basically say that there's probably less than, 5 manufacturers of jetpacks in the United States. I could be wrong. And they'd be very, very expensive. I'm just guessing. I don't really know. But I think these jetpacks would be somewhere around $500,000. Could be more, could be less, but they'd be very expensive. So we're talking somebody who's got a lot of money. Somebody who's rich, has a lot of money you can spend on a jetpack. Chances are they're young because older people don't take risks like this. So I'm estimating that this person is somewhere between the ages of 18 and 35. Now that rules out somebody like Elon Musk. People were saying that it might be Elon Musk flying this jetpack. But Elon Musk just got married. He has a new kid. He's got to save the world. He's got all kinds of things going on. I doubt very much, totally, that this is Elon Musk. It's not. Now let's talk about, so he's possibly unmarried, no kids, because what father would go up in restricted airspace at night with no lights, flying next to commercial aircrafts? That would be extremely selfish and completely a daredevil. And I just don't see this person having kids or having a wife. We're basically painting a profile, guys. I want to tell you about this thing called Occam's razor. Let me explain what this is. Now, my dad was a very smart guy. Not the smartest guy in the world, but he was really pretty intelligent. And he used to tell me these great sayings that I still remember today. And one of the sayings he used to tell me was, son, if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, most likely it's a duck. Now that's a simple description of Occam's razor. Let me tell you about Occam's razor. It's a strange name, I know. It's kind of hard to understand. Occam was a 13th century English Franciscan friar, theologian, and philosopher. He was given credit for this, but other Greek philosophers had actually talked about this before Occam did. Ptolemy and Aristotle also talked about this, that the simplest explanation is usually the truth. In other words, if you see something and it looks like something, the simplest explanation would be the explanation, right? And they used it for all kinds of religious miracles, etc. Well, Occam's razor basically says that you basically use this your logic, your simple logic techniques, and that's going to be, and that's what police officers and investigators and reporters, investigative reporters, and people in the prosecution business, they all use Occam's razor, which the simplest excuse, Hey, if a guy is caught in a crime and they find his fingerprints and his blood, like a case over here that we had in LA, the OJ case, what's basically the determination is that somebody with the fingerprints and the blood were there and possibly committed whatever crime allegedly that they said happened. But of course, there's certain things go to trial and people see it another way. But the simplest explanation is the explanation. So that's what my dad used to tell me. That's what I go by on a daily basis. So basically, when the pilot looks out the window, he sees a guy up there flying. Of course he says, this guy's flying a jetpack, right? Because that's the only thing That's the only thing he can relate it to. He's pretty stunned that that guy's up there. And he tells the control tower that he's flying at about the same altitude, which is 3,000 feet. And he doesn't report his airspeed, but again, he's going about 250, 300 miles an hour. And he's passing this jetpack, maybe flying 150 miles an hour. Now, I don't know about you, but who would be up there at night in restricted airspace, flying around in an expensive jetpack, and you're taking all kinds of risks? And the main risk is to your own life, and then the other possibilities of possibly crashing into one of these planes that would go down into a neighborhood, crashing into a whole neighborhood of houses, possibly setting off multiple fires, explosions, gas, etc. This person who's flying this thing is an absolute lunatic, because they're risking their own life as well as hundreds and thousands of other innocent lives, little children, babies, animals. If those houses go up in flames, if the plane crashes due to hitting this jetpack man. So this person's not thinking very well. They're not thinking logically at all. And it makes me wonder, the guy has a jetpack, he's got a lot of money. And if you have a lot of money, either you inherited it or you're pretty smart to get this money. And you wouldn't be stupid to fly this thing, risking all this. For what? Let's talk about that. For what? Now, there's really only two motivations in life, guys, other than charity and family. And that is to gain something or not to lose something. Think about that. The two motivations in life is for you to gain something and not to lose something. Those are the only two. Now, there's charity and there's family, and you give to both of those unconditionally. But the other ones you do for money, you do from fame, recognition, record in the record books. If you're a daredevil, you're looking for this. You're looking for adulation. You're probably a narcissist also. You need that kind of recognition. Now, there is no video. There is nothing on YouTube. If somebody did this and risked all this, they'd want to shoot a video and put it up on YouTube and make $1 million, right? Nope, there's no video. And there's no video for really a couple different reasons. The first reason is that the FBI would come and arrest you instantly. Now, I find it really interesting that the FBI, there's not many of these jetpack companies in the world. And I would imagine it'd be really easy for the FBI to call up each one of these jetpack companies and find out, get a list of all their clients, because all their clients who bought these jetpacks would have had to have filed paperwork, they would have had to gotten licensed, they would have had to take lessons. There would be a total paper trail on each one of these individuals. I'm sure they'd have to file especially with the FAA, because this is a special vehicle. I'm sure they can't fly at night. I'm sure they can't fly without lights. I'm sure they can't do any of this in restricted airspace, period. Now, why this guy just didn't go to the desert or fly it over a lake somewhere, a deserted place where he would have no hassle, if he was just trying to experiment and fly and do whatever he was doing, absolutely makes no sense, right? He's not making any money. He's not getting any fame. I guess we know sort of, who this person is, maybe. But this guy's the most daring person since D.B. Cooper. Do you know who D.B. Cooper was? He was a guy who robbed a plane that had a bunch of money and got away with like $300,000 back in the 60s, early 70s or something like that. He jumped out of a commercial aircraft with a parachute. It was never seen again. His name is D.B. Cooper. And he's really an enigma, an anomaly. He's never been found. Some people say they know who D.B. Cooper was. He died, and maybe he admitted this on his deathbed. We just don't know. But this guy in the jetpack is equally as daring and equally as mysterious, because we don't know why what's the motivation behind this? If he's not doing it for money and he's not doing it for fame, then what the hell is he doing? And a recognition, what the heck is he doing it for? Right? That makes no sense. So this person's between the ages of 18 and 35, let's say, very mega wealthy, multi-millionaire most likely, major risk taker, possibly unmarried with no kids. I don't know. Do you know anybody that fits that description? Do you know anybody who fits that description? Because I don't. I don't know anybody who would do that. I just really don't. So using Occam's razor, and the razor part comes from, I think it's like kind of cuts through all the BS, gets right to the issue. It's exactly how the cops and investigators conduct themselves with Occam's razor. First they look to see if there's a crime, they look at the family members, they look at the spouses, they look at the boyfriends, girlfriends, they look at the business partners, and they look at any possible enemies or anybody who had a lawsuit. That's instantly what the cops and the investigators do. They use Occam's razor. They don't go and look for somebody that it makes no sense. Now, there's other cases that are baffling, and you guys have seen me cover the Manson incidents back in '69. The Manson incidents, I'm not going to call it what they are because YouTube doesn't like that term, but you know what I'm talking about. Charles Manson, why he did what he did. Nobody knows why he did what he did. There's all kinds of theories, but he wasn't up there to steal anything, and I'm sure he wasn't up there to take any drugs or steal any drugs or anything like that. That makes no sense. So anyways, you've seen me talk about that. Occam's razor doesn't explain that. And that's why there's Helter Skelter and other theories. The Terry Melcher theory, revenge, is much more plausible in my mind. So you've seen me do other stories, Marilyn Monroe, Natalie Wood. You know, they're unexplained mysteries, guys. And if you use Occam's razor technique, you'll pretty much come up with your head scratching your head because you won't really know the truth because it doesn't make sense. Let's talk about there was nobody that saw him take off. This is a very important topic and item on my list. Nobody saw him take off. And nobody saw him land. And yes, they did call him a guy. They didn't call him a girl. It would have been incredible if he saw like a form-fitting female figure flying and said, hey, there's a good woman up here. No, he said a guy is flying a jetpack, so it's a guy. Again, the pilot didn't elaborate on the positioning of the guy in the jetpack. He didn't say that it was flying horizontally or vertically. He didn't say he had a helmet on or not. He didn't say if there were any aircraft lights. He didn't say any of that. So I don't know, but that would be very seriously helpful for me to understand what this situation is. So nobody saw him take off. Nobody saw him land. All right, so let's talk about the other possibilities. The other two possibilities is that he took off from a boat and flew up there and possibly landed back on the boat. But that would mean that he would have an accomplice. That means that somebody else would know about this. And yeah, it cannot be good. It cannot be good, whatever it is. I would not want to be up there flying around in my commercial aircraft going to my destination and have a guy, crazy MFer, fly into our plane and ruin all of our lives. That just doesn't sound like it's a reasonable concept. So nobody saw him took off and nobody saw him land. Now he could have taken off from a boat, which he would have had an accomplice. The other thing is he could have jumped out of an airplane. Also, he would have had an accomplice. So there's somebody else out there, a witness to this guy. Now there's another possibility that he just took off alone. But where did he do this? And where did he land? Nobody saw him. Nobody saw him come. Nobody saw him go. That just doesn't sound reasonable to me. Especially after they radioed the control tower and there were people, I'm sure, because the control tower alerted every aircraft in the airport and around the airport of this flying man. So everybody would have had their eyes and ears, peeled, looking and paying attention for this person, and they didn't see him. I find that amazing. This person was able to avoid detection of taking off and landing, and yet they're seen blatantly by these two commercial airline pilots. The second guy confirms, yes, there's a guy in a jetpack. Okay. I just don't see it, guys. Who is this person? Who's a rich guy, young, without a wife and kids, a daredevil doing this for nothing? Now, there's another concept of maybe this guy built this thing in his garage. That's a possibility, using Occam's razor. Maybe this crazy, eccentric genius built this thing in his garage and flew it. But again, I can't see anybody being secretive enough to keep this a secret. His neighbors would have known, his friends might have known he built this thing. There must be pictures of him flying this before he would be up there at 3,000 feet. Now let's talk about that. 3,000 feet and he's going 150 miles an hour? Come on, guys. Are you going to get in one of those vertically positioned jetpacks and fly 150, 200 miles an hour with the wind going right at your face? I don't even think that's possible. If it's the other style of jetpack with a wing, then we know it is human because there's a wing, and we don't have any report of any jet fuel being or vapor trail or condensation trail or any kind of heat source coming from the engine. We have nothing about that. Now, I'm sure we need to know more about these pilots and the details. And maybe that will come out, and I'll do a follow-up on this. But I did a video showing on my video that there's these things called, now what else could it be, okay? The other thing that it could be, guys, once you've gone down Occam's razor and explored all these possibilities and you come up short, the other possibility is that we don't know. And in the category of we don't know is a category called unidentified flying humanoids. Now this is a crazy thing, guys. Go on YouTube and you can check this out. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of videos and pictures on unidentified flying humanoids. These are humanoid-looking creatures that are seen in the sky for no reason, floating, sometimes standing still, sometimes flying with the air currents, but not swirling around, sometimes just straight up and down. I don't know how they kind of follow that positioning, but it's pretty darn crazy is what it is. So there's these things called unidentified flying humanoids. Now, my mind instantly comes to that and says, maybe that's what these pilots saw, an unidentified flying humanoid, because that would make a lot of sense. That would explain a lot of things. No taking off, no landing. That would explain a lot, wouldn't it? I think it would. I mean, what do you guys think? Chime in, let me know what you think. This is truly a fantastic story. And if it's a man flying a jetpack, I surely want to find out who it is and all the specifics about it. And because, it's a fascinating story and needs more investigation. So I'm over here at my lunch place. I'm going to pick up some food here a second. Hold on a second while I pay. Hold on a second. quite the story, guys. Let's see what. Yeah, the boats. Hey, Sassy Cat, how you doing? Hey, Shirley. No, he didn't do it for any publicity because there's not been anything on YouTube or in the news. And like I said, if there was, you're going to go to jail. There's going to be a big fine and you're going to go to jail and you're never going to be able to fly your expensive jetpack again. Is there silverware in there? Silverware?
Yeah.
No, just don't take a guess. Make sure I got it. And napkins, please. Thank you.
Let me make sure.
They never give me silverware. It's so stupid. Anyway, I just think it's such a fascinating story. I just don't see it being a real person. It doesn't fit the description of anybody that I know, anybody with a brain. We need to know more. Were there lights? Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know, you too. It just makes no sense at all that it's a human being riding a jetpack. Again, they could call up these jetpack manufacturers and find this out really easy. They could get a list of the people that bought a jetpack recently or in the past 10 years. They should be able to find this individual if it's a human, if it's a person. It doesn't compute, guys. It's been bothering me for a couple days now. Go check out my video. It's a slideshow video showing examples of flying humanoid creatures. Now, sometimes they're just, they move, sometimes they don't move. Other times, there's situations like Mothman, the event of Mothman, these creatures that have wings and fly and sometimes attack people in their cars, etc. Try to abduct people, try to snatch people off the ground. There's been many stories about that. Now, let's talk about what these flying humanoid creatures are. You know, I'm really into the UFO genre, and people in the UFO genre don't, well, I shouldn't make a blanket statement like this, but in general, we don't know what they are. They're flying around without any aircraft, per se. Now, this pilot says there's a man flying a jetpack, but was it a jetpack? Was it just something on his body? What was that? I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense that a guy would be up there risking his life with his new toy. And he must be having a good time. If he's got that much money to spend on a jetpack, he must be having a good time in his life. And why would you throw all that away? It just doesn't make sense. So, these flying humanoids have also been said to be maybe demonic. And I don't know very much. I mean, I know less about, because I've seen UFOs. I've recorded them dozens and dozens of times, so I'm a true believer in that. But I don't know if these things are demonic. Sometimes they have a demonic aspect to them, red eyes, looking like the devil or something. I don't know, but it's certainly an interesting topic, and I love this stuff. Just eat it up with a spoon. Can't believe this. I'm walking in a park right now. I'm gonna go sit down, eat my lunch. I'll bring you along with me. Just have a nice walk and talk today. I'm gonna read some of your comments, address some of those. You can ask me any questions, what I think. Let's see, I think we're gonna go over here. Okay. There we go. Nice. Hey guys, what's up? A drone? No, not a drone. A drone is small. A drone has rotors on it. A drone makes noise. Of course, he's up there. He doesn't see it. But, you know, if you're up there and you're flying in a jetpack at 150, 200 miles an hour, you could imagine what the noise level would be like in your ears. I mean, really, guys, really? Not a drone. Yeah, it is, Sassy Cat. A nice park here. Let me show you the park. A few people out here today. But, yeah, we got Maple Block Barbecue today. Delicious. Maple Block Barbecue. I'm going to show you what I got today. It's pretty darn good. Yeah, this has really gotten me bugged too. I can't believe it. Oh, here's another piece of news, guys. I didn't talk about this. Well, also I passed 10,000 subscribers, so thanks very much on that. I didn't announce that. That was pretty incredible. 10,000 subscribers on California Pickin' and growing. Get on board, guys. It's going to be fun. What a ride it's been. Anyway, also it was announced that there was a task force that was assembled by our government to study the possibility of UFOs and extraterrestrials. Now, I think it's pretty funny that now that they're admitting that there's extraterrestrials, and now yours and my money, our taxpayer dollars, are now going towards this. That's pretty incredible. So here's what I got for lunch. Let me show you. Let's see if I can get this. Wait. All right, let me show you this. So this is fatty brisket. This is potato salad. And this is vinegar slaw. And anyway, the United States government announced that they have a task force studying extraterrestrials. Hey, Steven, how you doing? Yeah, they've known about extraterrestrials for a long time. The fact that they're, bilking us out of our own money to study them on SETI when we have pictures in our own airspace is ridiculous. Trying to communicate thousands of millions of miles away. Really makes no sense. How you doing? Hey, Steve. Shout out to Shirley and Steve in the chat room. Yeah, finally we have some disclosure from the government. And of course, not too long ago, they released 3 films of the Navy recording UFOs. So we are getting really, really close to this mind-blowing disclosure, which of course I've known since I was 10 years old when my dad took me to the movie Chariots of the Gods. And I asked my dad coming out, Dad, is that real? And he said, son, it very well could be. And I just, everything I learned in religion and everything else just kind of, oh my gosh. That to me was truly profound. And yes, they have been, Sassy Cat, they have been working up to it. In the 50s and the 60s, they were doing all these, atomic age Martian movies. And then, of course, we had Close Encounters, E.T., all that. Chariots of the Gods, Eric von Daniken. If you haven't read that or looked at that, check it out. Excuse me while I eat. Yeah, it's very... Once you understand that we have had contact with aliens for a very long time, all these things, any kind of questions you've had are pretty much answered. There's no mystery. Because when you can come from millions of miles away, or through wormholes, or extra dimensions, or whatever it is, whatever these things are, they are a lot more advanced than we are. And we don't know jack squat. We don't know it. We've only had, science for 3,000 years, basically. That's nothing compared to how long the universe has been around. Again, I reiterate, the Drake equation says that statistically it's impossible for us to be alone in the universe. We've discovered hundreds of billions of stars, hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars, each with dozens of planets around them. Each one, the possibilities that there's nobody out there is infinitesimally small, you guys. That's called the Drake equation. Go look it up. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting topic to bring to you today. I hope you enjoyed this topic as much as I do. Truly fascinating. It's the biggest story in the world, guys. I don't care what's going on in the world right now. This is the biggest story, the biggest mystery of all time. Are we alone in the universe? Where did we come from? In the Bible, there are many, I'm not a big Bible thumper, by the way, or into organized religion. And if you are, that's okay. Well, I personally am not. But when you look at the Bible reads like one big extraterrestrial event from Jonah being swallowed by a whale with metallic ribs, to Elijah being caught up on a beam of light never to be seen again, to Enoch being abducted and taken around on a spaceship, and especially Ezekiel in the Old Testament, where he saw the wheel in the sky and vividly describes what he saw. That wasn't divine, you guys. That wasn't what they thought it was. They only could explain it like it was a chariot on fire. So it's really obvious to me. Maybe it is to you, but we've been lied to this whole time. Our schools don't tell us the truth. Our schools don't teach us esoteric knowledge, anything controversial. They just teach us, and they just blindly think that we should blindly follow them. I'm just never been a follower, ever. And I'm really not even a leader, but I'm just not a follower. So I guess maybe I am a leader when it comes to, charging ahead with this topic and trying to expose it to the world. There's thousands and thousands of sightings every year of UFOs. You take 50% of those away and say those are misidentifications, fakes, or hoaxes, you still got 50 of those thousands of cases every year to be able to explain it. And I just don't think you're going to be able to do it. So, yes, there are fakes. Yes, there are hoaxers. Yes, there's misidentification, rockets, airplanes, helicopters, balloons, all kinds of things being misidentified. But when it all comes down to it, there's cases that just can't be explained. Hey, how's it going, Swamp Picker? Magnetic vortex. Yes, UFOs are real. Some are property that we own. Excuse me. Yes. Yes. Most of what we witness is ours. I wouldn't say that that's a fair assessment. I would say that there's some truth to that we've reversed engineered these things, but no, I don't think everything that we see, or most everything we see, is our own. I'd say there's a portion of it. I don't know what portion, but there are so many craft that don't fit the aerodynamic profile of how a human would design something. In other words, why would somebody design a cube to fly through the air? You wouldn't design a cube. And yet there's a cube up there, or a pyramid. If they have the ability of space and time to blink in and out, they probably don't even need aerodynamics. They probably don't even need a shape that looks like a plane or a rocket. And that's unexplainable in itself. Some of these shapes are so bizarre, and some of them morph. Yeah, the government doesn't want to tell us because we would freak out. Well, you know what? Maybe this little situation that we're in right now with these things, these masks, maybe this is a beginning step in getting us information to see if we'll comply and see if we'll freak out. I mean, so far, yes, people have freaked out. But for the most part, life continues, it goes on, and, you know, look at that. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, it's so good. Maple Block Meat Company. So, the fact that the United States government would announce that they are funding it's funny you bring up Hitler. The Germans and Hitler were working on anti-gravity vehicles, such as the Vril and the Honeyboo. I'm very familiar with that subject. Designed by a guy named Victor Schauberger was his name. And the big question is why Hitler didn't use his secret weapon, the Wonder weapon. Why he didn't use it is a big question. But it does appear that the Germans were familiar with this technique of anti-gravity. And we used to see these things in the Second World War called Foo Fighters, and they were balls of light, spheres. Today we know them as spheres. Pretty much most of my videos that I've ever shot are spheres. We're learning the truth slowly, Stephen says. Admitting to all the secrets, magnetic vortex, admitting to all the secrets regarding abductions, assassinations, fraudulent technology, patents ongoing above, top secret projects, discrediting witnesses, and ruining careers, etc. Yeah, good point. Good point, Vortex. And it really does start with Kennedy. Kennedy's the one who said we're going to go to the moon within 10 years. Kennedy's the one who said that the concept of secret societies is abhorrent. That's directed towards the Illuminati, the Masonic, Freemasons, etc. And very coincidentally, he was shot soon after that speech. So a lot of conspiracy people think it was that speech about the secret societies that got him killed. I don't know. It's up to you. I have my own theories. 1960, Stephen writes. I don't know what that would refer to, but 1960s. Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff did start with Kennedy and the assassination. I think that's when our country started going down the drain. Remember, Eisenhower warned us before Kennedy about the secret industrial military complex, of which he was a 4-star general, maybe 5 stars, but I'm sure he was a 4-star. He was the supreme commander of all the Allied forces, Eisenhower. And Eisenhower supposedly had even met with an extraterrestrial. You can look that up. But yeah, I think Ike basically warned everybody about the industrial military complex of which he was part of. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't get, I don't know. He only did one term though. He only did one term. So I think one term, right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, we've known about this stuff for a long time. Of course, this is going to expose free energy, Vortex and Steven. This is going to expose free energy, and of course, they don't want you to have anything for free. They want to charge you. The power company wants you as a customer. They don't want you, using free energy to go here and there. They want you to buy their gallon of gas that goes up every year. That's what it's about, guys. Money, come on. Money is the root of all evil. And that's why this guy up in the sky flying around in a jetpack doesn't make any sense. He's not doing it for any money, and he's not doing it for any recognition. Yes, there would be upheavals. There would be, and it would be coming from religion. Religion would lose its power. As Jack Nicholson said in that movie, when Tom Cruise said, "We want the truth," and he says, "You can't handle the truth." I think that is a good assumption. These guys play our babysitters. They don't want us having the information, because then we wouldn't think anything of them. You get it? This is one of the biggest con jobs of all time. Is when they tell you where we're from, how we came about. What a scam. I'm sorry, but I don't buy a lot of it. I have a brain. I can use my brain. It tells me that there's something else. One of you guys said that this was a test to see what the jetpack man could get away with. Nobody saw him land. Nobody saw him take off. What's he doing this for? You and I would put the video out and make $1 million. Why didn't they do that? Could this be disinformation also from the government? Could this be a government thing where they're trying to, show us things? Vortex says that, don't expect any disclosure anytime soon. Again, Vortex, if this was a year, 2, 3 years ago, I'd say maybe you're right. Now, I don't think that statement holds water because they did disclose. They did disclose these 3 videos. And they have better videos than this. Give me a frickin' ass break. Anything that a guy with a cell phone can record, I'm sure they got much more than that. Plus, they got these things at Area 51, right? Patterson Air Force Base, wherever these bodies were from Roswell, they got it. There's evidence of that. There's witnesses. There's all kinds of things. It makes no sense that it was a weather balloon. Hogwash. Disclosure. And now they announced that the government and you and I are paying into a fund to support the investigation of the UFO activity here. That's soft disclosure to me. You got it again. Yep. Sassy Cat, yeah, they've been letting it out a little bit at a time for years. I respect what you're saying, Vortex. I know what you're saying. This would be my typical, answer. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But now there was this announcement that there was an off-world vehicle that was announced on Fox News. I give Fox News a little bit of credit for following the UFO genre. I gotta say, they do follow it and they do report on it. So good for them. They said that there was an off-world vehicle that was announced, and I was skeptical about that. A former official said there was an off-world vehicle. Either the story was squelched and squashed, or that really was just maybe disinformation, distraction from what's going on. I don't really know. But to me, these are little small moves towards disclosure. Yeah, I do understand, remember, and some of you guys aren't old enough, I'm not even old enough, but I do know this. There was a thing called War of the Worlds by Orson Welles, and it was a radio broadcast done in the 40s. And they put out this radio broadcast, and they acted like there was an alien invasion. And Orson Welles was the announcer, I believe. And the world panicked, and many people actually committed suicide. When I say many, I think there were several. I don't know if it was dozens. I don't think it was hundreds, but many people went bonkers and didn't want to be around for the alien invasion, and they killed themselves. Well, then he had to come on and the next day and apologize. And from that point on forward, there's never been another broadcast like that. And I think the government surely learned their lesson from the War of the Worlds experience, that we are really very touchy and very scared of these things. Yeah. So I think that's another reason, Vortex and Steven and Sassy, that they don't publicly disclose it from the president's lips. Now, he also, another thing, this is not political in any way, so please don't leave any comments, because this is not a political channel, not a political subject. But Donald Trump was being interviewed by his son, and his son asked something about disclosure, UFOs, and Trump said something like, well, maybe I'll have to think about it, blah, blah, blah. That's interesting. And he kind of And I also am also blown away that there's no reporters in the room that ask him questions about this topic. You know, I just, I would, if I was in the room, I'd ask him that question. Yeah, the War of the Worlds. Marcia, how you doing? Yeah, inside the ship is real Alice in Wonderland stuff. If you can dream it up as a human, it's already been made, it's already been done. We are way late. Anything that we're doing is like dinosauric. By the way, when you look down at the ground, do you see ants? There's not many ants these days. I don't know why, but when I was a kid, there were a lot of ants. And now there's look down the ground. You can't even see many ants. I don't know where they went, but maybe it's the cell phone and radiation, pollution, all this other stuff. But do you look down at the ants and go, "Oh, I wonder what the ants are doing today. Let's watch the ants. Let's follow that one little ant. I wonder what he's doing. He or she is doing." No, you don't. You don't follow little ants around. You know? So, like, these things are looking down at us, and we must be like ants to them. Like, look at those little things down there. Let's go look at them for a while, but, I don't know. I don't know. Remember, everything was super big back in the prehistoric ages. Everything was super ginormous. So chances are humans, or sorry, not humans, but maybe creatures from other planets are very, very big. And maybe their ships have to be very, very big. I don't know. But very interesting topic, guys. Guys, I'm so excited about this topic. It just blows me away when I hear stuff like this about Jetpack Man. And if it is a Jetpack Man, I will surely follow up and come back and, admit that it was a guy in a jetpack. Because I still think it's a fantastic story, whoever this is doing this, flying around, unlicensed, could go to jail, could die, could kill a bunch of people. What? For what? No recognition, no money? Doesn't sound like a human trait to me. Humans do things for only two reasons: to gain something or not to lose something. There's only two reasons. Which one is it? I don't know. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little chat, walk and talk. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. I'll probably follow up on this story soon. Yes, it is a great story, isn't it? I think it's great. Thanks for stopping by, Steven, Sassy Cat, Marcia, and Vortex. And for all you guys who join us later, shout out to all of you guys. Let me know where you're watching from, the country you're watching from, the city, whatever. Give me a big shout out. Let me know. Let's see. Marcia says, my husband was an aerospace. Hold on a second. Let me read this. Wait a second. My husband was an aerospace designer engineer, and he had top secret clearance. He used to tell me there's some... Oh, He used to tell me that there's some pretty crazy stuff in the future, but he couldn't say. I lost him in 2001 of cancer. Oh, really, I'm sorry about that. And I really, really wish that on his deathbed, I know this is going to be hard to hear, and I'm sorry for your loss, but I really wish that on his deathbed that he told you what those secrets were. Because if he knew he was going to die, there wasn't going to be any penalty for disclosing this top secrecy. I really wish that your husband would have told us what he knew. And by the way, very often some of these people on their deathbed will tell the truth because they know they're going to die and there's no penalty. So anyway, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm really sorry about your husband's death in 2001. It's an incredible topic, guys. It just, I could just go on and on and on. But I'm going to have to wrap it up here. Hope you enjoyed this. It's been a great Saturday out in the park. And yes, watching from Los Alamos National Laboratory. Really? Come on, really? Are you really? Come on. Scientific research. Really? What are you doing there, magnetic vortex? What are you doing at Los Alamos? There's been a lot of UFO activity over secret nuclear military installations. You probably are well aware of that. At one time, they disabled some nuclear codes at a nuclear facility that had nuclear tipped rockets, and they were able to, whatever these UFOs were able to do was able to turn off all the controls to the facility. That's pretty scary. This is a national security issue. I've pointed out many times on my videos, guys, these spheres flying around airplanes, I've recorded them. You can go on my channel, go on my playlist, by the way. Go on my playlist, go to the UFO section. I have videos of sphere UFOs flying in very close proximity to airplanes. So, wow. Joe Esposito, Elvis's friend, said that when he was dying that Elvis was alive somewhere. I don't buy that one. No, Jeffrey Epstein, maybe, but Elvis is dead. Elvis is most likely dead, and so is Michael Jackson. Anyway. But I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. The saga of the Jetman question mark or unidentified flying humanoid continues. So we're going to have to wait to see what happens. I might try to do some follow-up with this. I might call a jetpack company. I might call the news. I might try to get more information on the time, what it looked like. Did it have lights? Did it have wings? And any other specifics about this event, because I still just, it's a mystery. So, hey, thanks so much, Marcia. Thanks so much. Thank you, Vortex. Thank you, Marcia, Steven, Sassy Cat, and all my other viewers that watch this video later. So have a great Saturday. Have a great holiday weekend, and hope to see you guys soon. Hit that bell symbol. Make sure your bell symbol's checked. Sometimes these guys at Google will uncheck my bell symbol. Make sure it's checked, and make sure it's checked on the notice of all. Just press all. You want all notifications when they happen. Check that out. Hit like button and of course, share this video with everybody. This is incredible. Anyway, shout out to all these other groups. Age of Disclosure, Unknown Mysterious UFOs, UFO History, UFO Disclosure, any of these other these Facebook groups that I'm in, studying the paranormal, all things paranormal. Shout out to Misty Pearl, shout out to Tim Coomer. All you guys, tell me what you think about Jetpack Man versus unidentified flying humanoid. All right, guys. Cheers now. Have a good one. Bye now. I hope I know how to end this stream. How do you end the stream?